Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. Jay, before we get into this video, I got to make sure that I say something to our special guest on this channel. Those of you who are new to the channel, this is the Angry Man Podcast and Sports Media, where we're always dropping boxing related content. We do it all here. Documentaries, fight breakdowns, commentary, opinion. That's what we do on this channel. No other boxing channel you'll find on YouTube does this. So make sure you become a subscriber and smash the like button. And for those of you who are normal patrons of the channel, make sure you smash the like button or the dislike button, but make sure that you are engaging with the content. So Jay, this is an interesting one as far as I'm concerned. And, I just, with Shakur Stevenson, you never know what you're going to get with him. Over the last couple of days, he's been making the rounds, been on a number of different platforms, podcasts, things of that nature. And he's talked about a litany of different topics that I want to discuss here. But one that is of great importance, let me say it that way, of great importance that I'm going to jump into here in a few minutes. But I want to talk about some of the things that he's talked about thus far in these interviews. Now, normally, I don't necessarily agree with Shakur Stevenson, but these rounds of videos that I've seen over here the last, let's call it 3 or 4 days, I've agreed with about 90 to 95% of it, including the topic that we're going to discuss here later. But he's talked a little bit about this whole situation with the fans and the fact that many fans walked out of his fights, and his last few performances have been, let's be honest, and this is no Shakur Stevenson hate, they've been pretty bad, okay? Those performances have been pretty bad. They have not been very entertaining, and people have walked out on him. Now, he mentioned in one of the videos, he said basically F the fans when the interviewer asked him how he plans to get the fans back. Now, if he's saying that, Jay, in regards to just F the fans as it relates to his process and how he gets himself ready for a fight and what he plans to execute on fight night, I totally agree with that. That's the exact approach you need to take because you need to go out there to get the win. Now, do you need to do it in impressive fashion? And we'll tie into our topic later on this, but you do. But yes, when you're preparing for the fight, F the fans. Number 2, he talked a little bit about Floyd Schofield, Jay, and the fact that Floyd did some things that were not necessarily cool, or at least his father did some things that weren't necessarily cool when they were getting ready to have their fight, Jay. And he said that there needs to be stipulations in place to prevent situations like that. Now, he spoke specifically to quote unquote lying. I'm thinking it's more so some stipulations tied to Floyd Schofield pulling out a fight, particularly because he's done it one time. Now, was Floyd Schofield sick? Maybe. Maybe not, but he is more than willing to make the fight with Floyd Schofield contingent on there being an opportunity to hold him accountable in case he pulls out of the fight. For me, Jay, that's 100% totally fair. That's something that I would look for if I was a fighter. So I have no problem with that. And then, of course, he's talked about William Zepeda and how he's going to belt the ass. And I've told many people, several people in the Discord or in our live stream, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Sunday. So make sure you check us out. That Zepeda is tailor-made for Shakur Stevenson, period. He's tailor-made for Shakur Stevenson. So we know what the performance is going to look like once he gets in the ring with Shakur Stevenson. It is what it is. You guys can say that this is going to be a competitive fight in Shakur, but I think Tim Bradley is correct. He is going to absolutely pepper William Zepeda. But let's jump into the topic that I really wanted to discuss. And it was something that was said in one of the interviews. And I don't think a lot of people caught this, Jay, because it was said toward the end of the interview. Yep. But Shakur Stevenson is willing to do what it takes to really force a Gervonta Davis fight. And I don't want to really say it's forced because I know Gervonta Davis will be willing to take this fight as well. Shakur stated that, Jay, he would be willing to sign with the PBC in order to make a Gervonta Davis fight. That is a big deal. Now, we got to take that with a level of salt, just a little bit, because he could be asking for something that, again, PBC is not interested in actually doing. As I reported back in August of
Last year.
2024 that he was looking for something that they may not be looking for. But ultimately, Jay, I think that if he's willing to sign with PBC, that warms my heart because that shows that he is absolutely willing to make that fight. And I want to hear what you got to say about it, Jay. What are your thoughts on the fact that Shakur Stevenson is actually willing to sign a PBC contract to make a fight with Gervonta Davis?
I was shocked when I heard it. I had to replay it like several times. Like he said what? He said what? But if he is gonna stand on that, that's great news. Because that gets rid of one hurdle
Mm-hmm.
right there. That whole other side
Mm-hmm.
of the street, that gets rid of that major hurdle. And hopefully he's learned from when he didn't bet himself with the whole Devin situation of being undisputed. He had that fight right there. He could have called Devin's bluff. He chose not to. He chose to go a different route to try to get more money versus going for this legacy that he said he was trying for. Now he don't care about belts. He's just about making the best fights. Then this would be the best fight at 135 right now. We got Tank having one belt. Shakur has another belt. The Sam and Abdullah fighting for a vacant belt, and Mortala has I believe the IBF, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, this will be the best fight at 135, and he wants it the end of the year, which that'll make for a really really good boxing year for 2025. We know it's a big fight card in November. If they fight in December, that'd be perfect. That'd be a perfect way to end this year, and we'll see where it goes from there. But him saying that was shocking to me though. I wasn't expecting him to say that. I do feel that it's gonna be more to it. It's not gonna just be like, okay, I get the Tank fight, one fight contract deal, boom. Nah, it's gonna be more to it than that. Of course, he's gonna want to be compensated from a money standpoint. I get it. It's not like he's fighting some Joe Blow. It'll be Tank Davis we talking about. So he should get paid his biggest payday of ever. But does he need a long-term contract with them to get this? I mean, are you looking to stay with PBC? Or are you looking to get this fight that you say you've been calling this dude's name out for some time now? So I would be happy if he were to sign that. They both got to handle their business. He got to handle his business with Zepeda this Saturday. Tank got to handle his business in the rematch with Roach next month, if that's when it's going to happen. And then we can go from there. I mean, that'll make for, like I said, a great end to 2025 of boxing. And that'll seal the deal at 135 for that kind of like that age group, as far as like Shakur and Tank, since they're a little older than Dula Mason, Keyshawn Davis's, Floyd Schofield's and whatnot. And I also like the fact that he mentioned Schofield, but he said his eyes are set on one guy, and that's Tank Davis. So him reiterating that and really pushing for it is great news. At the end of that video, I want him to keep pushing for it after he handles business with Zepeda. And I agree with you. I see Zepeda being tailor-made for him, especially seeing the way Farmer was to hit him